Hello and welcome back to another episode of Eric's Electronics, and today we're going to be doing a Miscellaneous Monday where we're just going to be taking on a very small, simple sort of task that's kind of related to electronics, and it's basically just something that we're going to be able to get in and out of real simply, so just kind of a fun thing, sort of a fix-it thing, and then we'll get started. So welcome. And let's get started with our simple repair. So right here, you'll see in the camera frame, it's a very simple thing. It's basically a soldering iron. There's a little holder here, which is not really our concern today. It's just something to hold, but you'll see it's kind of cool. It's just got a sort of a ceramic sort of holder, metal. There's a little thing here for tinning, and then there's the iron itself. So the iron is very simple. One of the reasons why it's been so long since I have been sending a video off your way is that much has happened in the last couple of years. Yes, it's been 18 months plus since the last Eric's Electronics, and that's because I've moved from the Midwest over to the Northwest and then moved, well, technically 3 times here in the Northwest. It's been a journey, but all of that being fun and interesting, I'm sure, what we had here as I was moving is this was packed away, and when I unpacked it, and I'll just go ahead and do this, it was loose. I could tell that it was loose when I pulled it out. So I determined very quickly that, of course, this screws on as I just unscrewed it now, and when I unscrewed it, the whole thing came out, and I said, that doesn't look good, that looks bad. So, at the inside are the wires here. You'll get a close-up here in just a second, which you can see something's wrong with this. These wires should be connected to this thing. Now, there's not a lot complicated about this soldering iron. It's actually very, very straightforward. You can tell that it just plugs into the wall using this plug. The cord comes around and ends right here. These wires are connected really to the wall, right through that plug, and then they're connected here to these little connectors, which then run in here, which then heats up this piece of metal, which eventually melts the solder at the end here at the tip. Let me even get a closer view of that for you. What's going on here, there are actually little screws here. The wires get put into these holes and the wires get screwed down on. So if I unscrew this, and you've just got to give me credit for having the coordination to be able to do that. So you unscrew the screw, like so. Taking a little longer than I thought. Same thing here, and you can see it already. There's leftover wire. So as I unscrew this, those wires, those little small filaments will fall out. I don't have to unscrew the whole thing. I just wanted to unscrew the one so I could just show you how that works and that these are threaded. The next issue is getting these wires ready to be put back in. So what I'm going to do is kind of cut these wires off, begin again, strip the wires, about maybe 1/4 of an inch, and then they'll be ready to go back into the receptacle here. All right, so I'm going to do that. If you hold on. I'm going to take this little stay and just kind of move it up just a little bit. Give us a little bit of working room here on the wire. Here's the wire. Like so. What we're going to do is just cut those off. Same thing. And we have 2 wires here that we're going to strip. Wire stripper in place. What we do to strip wires is just bite into into the insulation just a little bit, and then pull it off. Now, sometimes, if you're very clever, as you're pulling it, you can twist. And that's what you always want to do. Whenever we're dealing with wires that are free-stranded like this, you always want to give them a twist. Once they're twisted, they're just a lot easier to deal with. Okay? Again, I did that already by twisting the insulation off before. So now we're ready to put the wires into the little holes here, like so. Now you can see why it's important that we twist that in so that we don't get anything hanging up, like so. And then once we get that in, the other side, then I'll screw everything down. All right, I'm not going to do that now because it's just way too awkward to try and do that with the camera going. So hold on. Okay, so now you can see we've got these wires screwed in and screwed down and tightened up. So now all we have to do is put the cover on top. Now actually not yet. Notice that these wires are kind of hanging out here. So I'm just going to physically kind of bend them over just so that there's no reasonable, I don't know about reasonable, but less of a chance that they'll touch and eventually like spark and cause concerns later on. So I'm going to put the plastic cover over, and then I think we're done. Alright, so we're almost there. Notice that we still have some trash that we're going to have to deal with, so I'm going to go and clean off my workspace because it's always important, I feel, it's important to maintain a clean workspace all the time. Once you make a mess, clean it up immediately. So we're going to do that. So give me a moment. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just plug this in, and we're going to see if there are any sparks or anything awful happening. Nope, nothing yet. So I've got this, again, this what I would call this a crafting soldering iron. This is the soldering iron I use when I'm out doing something else, when I'm not really at my kind of my workbench area, right, like I am here. So I don't. This is kind of my quick and dirty soldering iron. I have a more professional soldering station over off camera here, but this is the one that if I really just have something quick, or I'm working outside or something like that, and it doesn't require too much wattage, this is the one that I use. So we're just waiting for it to warm up. Hopefully it's going to do that. Just a quick test to see if I'm feeling any heat. You don't want to go and just touch it because that could be surprising. So I'm seeing a little smoke kind of come off of the tip. This is a good sign. So as you can see now, it's beginning to melt the tinning solution. Look at that beautiful stuff there. All right, so now I'm all ready to go off and do some soldering project, which I actually don't have anything for you today, but there we are. We have repaired, in a very simple way, a simply built, dare I say inexpensively built soldering iron, and it's just been as simple as that. There was no need to throw it away. We could just fix it ourselves. Easy peasy. All right. And there we are. Simple repair, in and out, simple to do. All you have to do is just actually look for what could be wrong and see if that's within your capability to fix and to get into it, and then just go ahead and do it. At the end of the day, this isn't a high-risk thing. As I mentioned, this is an inexpensive soldering iron. If I lost it or if I goofed it up, not a lot of harm there. So worthwhile to kind of tear into it just a little bit and see what could be done. Simple as it turned out, almost trivial. So hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time.